Today, I'll examine how businesses navigate relationships with governments across national borders. These relationships can shape market access, regulation, political risk, and the conditions for long-term growth. The challenge is that government expectations, institutions, and decision-making processes differ from one country to another, so a strategy that works in one context may fail in another. The central idea is resilience, building a business approach that can adapt to different political and institutional environments while maintaining credibility, consistency, and clear strategic goals. Every business operates within a political environment, whether leaders actively engage with it or not. Governments shape the rules of the game through laws, taxes, tariff subsidies, and regulations. These rules can vary dramatically from one country to another, affecting costs, market access, competition, and day-to-day operations. For entrepreneurs developing a business plan, ignoring the political dimension is a critical blind spot. A strategy that succeeds in one regulatory environment may be difficult or even impossible to implement somewhere else. That's why government relations belong in the planning conversation from the beginning. The core challenge is that no two countries operate under the same conditions. Regulatory diversity means environmental, labor, and trade requirements must be addressed with tailored compliance strategies. Political stability also varies, from predictable partners to governments that change policies abruptly, increasing long-term investment risk. Cultural norms shape what is considered acceptable in lobbying, negotiation, and relationship building. Finally, corruption levels differ widely, and Transparency International data highlights how that risk can affect both operating costs and ethical decision-making. A successful global approach must account for all four dimensions. Mapping the political landscape is a critical step before entering any new market. I need to understand how the government operates, what direction public policy is taking, and how efficiently bureaucracy functions. The stability of legal institutions is especially important because it affects how consistently rules are interpreted and enforced. Together, these factors shape the day-to-day operating environment, influence business risk, and help determine whether a market is prepared to support sustainable operations. This analysis provides a practical foundation for making informed market entry decisions. The first key challenge is regulatory complexity and compliance. Regulations can vary widely, from streamlined and transparent systems to environments that are difficult to navigate and opaque. The burden begins with market entry, including licensing, permits, and foreign ownership limits. It continues through daily operations, covering labor, environmental, and data requirements, and may extend to exiting the market through capital repatriation and asset liquidation rules. Even an unintentional compliance failure can lead to fines, operational shutdowns, or lasting reputational damage. Political risk can change the business environment almost overnight. A new government may nationalize an industry, alter tax rules, or revoke operating licenses, leaving foreign companies exposed. Civil unrest and conflict create a different set of challenges by disrupting supply chains, threatening employee safety, and temporarily closing off entire markets. Finally, geopolitical tensions, including sanctions, trade wars, and diplomatic disputes, can restrict market access or interrupt financial transactions with little warning. The central concern is uncertainty. Decisions made far beyond a company can quickly affect its operations, costs, and ability to remain in the market. A third major challenge is corruption and the ethical dilemmas that can arise in unfamiliar markets. Informal payments, facilitation fees, or political connections may be treated locally as normal ways to move business forward. But accepting those practices can conflict directly with the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, the U.K. Bribery Act, and OECD anti-bribery obligations. The central tension is clear. Companies must understand local norms without violating the laws that govern them at home. That requires explicit ethical policies, consistent oversight, and rigorous employee training. Government can play two very different roles in a market: competitor or partner. In sectors like energy, telecommunications, and banking, state-owned enterprises may dominate, creating an uneven playing field for private businesses. But governments may also seek private sector expertise through partnerships in infrastructure, healthcare, and education. The key is strategic alignment. When a company clearly connects its value proposition to national development priorities, it may gain better access, potential subsidies, and stronger goodwill. Success depends on understanding which role government is playing and responding accordingly. Effective business. Government relations begin with preparation, local insight, and strong ethical standards. First, conduct a political risk assessment using PASTEL frameworks and specialist consultants before entering a market. Second, build credible local relationships by hiring experienced government affairs professionals or working with established law and lobbying firms. These partners can help navigate the local environment responsibly. Finally, embed ethics into daily operations through a clear anti-corruption policy, practical training, reliable reporting mechanisms, and zero-tolerance enforcement. Together, these strategies reduce risk and support sustainable, trusted engagement with government stakeholders. A strong business plan incorporates business, government relations, or BGRs from the beginning, rather than treating them as an afterthought. First, scan the political environment by mapping relevant laws, actors, and policy trends. Next, classify risks by assessing and ranking political and regulatory exposure. Then, define stakeholder engagement and the compliance controls needed to manage those risks. Finally, monitor key signals continuously and adapt the plan as conditions change. Government relations should function as a strategic pillar across market entry, operations, and growth. The key takeaway is that no universal playbook exists. Each country requires a tailored approach, while research, local expertise, and contingency planning make risk manageable. Ethics builds trust and legal protection, and meaningful government relationships create access, influence, and stability that competitors cannot easily replicate.